Good evening. This is Satan's Trilogy, Book 1, Chapter 4, Reading 24. I am the author, and I am the narrator. I hope you enjoy this. Esther, say no more. This next door will blow your mind. It's just a little ways down this way. Brandy led Esther down the sidewalk about 60 yards where they stood in front of another specialty store. The sign read, Teresa's Place Settings. Brandy turned to Esther. You are going to love this store. Turning around, two girls went inside, and the store was big, twice as wide as the other stores, and twice as deep. Their china settings included the finest china to the most basic stoneware patterns, and everything was reasonably priced. They also carried a large selection of stemware and simple goblets, along with an excellent range of flatware. Looking about and scanning deep into the store, Esther knew that she had found the store of her dreams. Turning to her aunt, Esther said, Aunt Brandy, I love you. You have taken me to the store of my dreams. At that moment, an attractive black lady walked up to the girls and asked if she could help them. Hi, said Esther. You really have a wonderful store here. I'll have to come back someday and just browse, but for today, I'd like to see some simple porcelain china, off-white with no markings, and slightly heavy for everyday use. I'll need 12 place settings and some stemware to match it. Something fine, but again, strong enough for daily use. Pleased that Esther knew exactly what she wanted and how to describe it, the lady asked the girls to follow her. I think that we have a nice selection that will fit your needs just fine. Walking some distance, the clerk said, Not far now. The lady led them into the center of the store where a nice display of place settings were on display. Some included simple patterns. Taking a look at the plates, Brandy noticed that the price was nearly $600 per place setting. Showing the sticker price to Esther, Brandy wondered if Esther would suffer sticker shock. This china will have a lifetime replacement guarantee against chipping or cracking. The manufacturer will replace any piece that you are not satisfied with. The sales lady could see that Esther had fallen in love with the strong and fluid lines of the plates she was holding. I am authorized to offer you a 25% discount for cash, said the sales lady. Her name tag had finally become noticeable from under her lapel. Martha C., sales consultant. I really like the stemware, too, said Esther. Martha again spoke to Esther. I'm not surprised. This stemware won the 2006 Design Award from the International Glassware Consortium. Fortunately for you, it is now being discontinued and is on sale at half the regular price. Martha smiled and waited for a response. Esther was noticeably excited, and Brandy could tell that she was all ready to purchase the glassware and the china. The fact that she could buy them both at a sale price was nice, yet it would still be a lot of money. Turning to her aunt, Esther was excited and smiling. And Brandy, this is such a beautiful place setting, and it's simple yet elegant. We can use it every day. Brandy smiled and then spoke. Esther, you know that if you love it that much, then you should buy it. I know that my few dishes should probably be donated to the Salvation Army. The sales clerk looked a bit puzzled. Stunned at the same time, looking at Esther, she asked, "Are you Esther Saint?" Esther turned from her aunt and looked at the lady. She was puzzled that the sales clerk knew her name. "Yes, how did you know?" Esther asked. "My son's name is John. He came in here a couple of hours ago saying he had met the most amazing girl, that he had decided to stay in school. He said Esther Saint was going to make the remainder of the school year memorable. His friends followed John, and so they are staying in school too. Esther, you have answered my prayers. John was going to drop out of school, and nothing I said could change his mind. Esther, there is no way that I can thank you enough. Come here, honey. I want to give you a big hug." Martha released Esther from the hug, but held on to her. She was visibly moved at having met Esther. "Esther, I know that you are very special. I can sense it. I believe that you have saved my boy from a wasted life. I can't thank you enough, but I can give you anything you buy here at cost." Martha tried to pull herself back together from the emotional state she had displayed. "Esther, when you shop here, you will pay only 10% of the price. That is our cost, and now it is your cost." Esther looked at the sales lady and smiled. "Your son is very intelligent. I could tell that immediately when we met. He and his friends helped rescue a mother and daughter from some very bad people. John understood what needed to be done, and he did it. You can be proud of how your son handled himself today." The sales lady listened to Esther, and some tears started to flow from her eyes. "Esther, you are so wonderful. You have made me a very happy mother by sharing this story with me. I have always known that John was smart, but he never applied himself. He just hasn't shown focus on succeeding in life. But today I saw a different John. My son is excited about school and finally seems focused. He mentioned you several times and how you have such confidence. He feels that he can do the same." Esther smiled. "This is so wonderful to hear. John and his friends all seemed like good kids that were restless for some reason. I'm very glad that I'll see them in school." Martha wiped away the tears from her eyes and said, "All right, let's take care of this order so that you can be on your way. I suspect you have some more shopping to do. You wanted 12 place settings of the china and the stemware. Esther, let me show you one more item that I believe you'll love." Martha motioned for the two girls to follow her, and after walking several hundred feet, they were in front of the flatware display. Dozens of name brands, and the displays were huge. Martha took the girls to a set of flatware that included a half-dozen large pieces. This set was originally paired with your china when first placed on display a half-dozen years ago, and I have always felt that the pairing was perfect. Esther looked at the simple design of the flatware. It was obviously high quality with a hefty feel and yet a smooth handle that conformed to the fingers. At the base of each piece was a small curl that almost translated into an S shape. Esther loved the feel and the heft of the flatware and immediately looked at Martha. "Yes, I can understand why this is a perfect match to the china. Can I buy a set of 12? Esther realized that she needed to have at least 12 sets of flatware to guarantee never to come up short at a party. "Of course," said Martha, "and you will have the wholesale price that I promised you." Martha was thrilled that Esther was happy and that she had been able to thank the person responsible for her son staying in school. Martha grabbed a tag from the display and asked the girls to follow her back to the register. Ringing up the china, stemware, and flatware, Esther's final total was only $999. Esther, you will love everything that you have purchased. The quality on these items is very high, and the guarantee is unmatched by the competition. You have a fantastic eye for quality. Martha took Esther's debit card and rang up the purchases, then commented to her, Esther, I can see that my son was right. This will be a memorable semester at Grant High. John has always been perceptive, but refused to take on challenges. I saw a different John this afternoon. Perhaps he is finally ready to put his intellect to work. At any rate, you have challenged him to become the better person that I know he is. God bless you, Esther. Please, if I can ever help you in any way, please let me know. Esther took her claim check and thanked Martha for her generosity. She turned to her aunt and said, Aunt Brandy, I have accomplished everything that I intended to at this mall. Let's see what we can do for you. Esther and Brandy left the store. Brandy once again was amazed at what had just happened, but her focus shifted to shopping for her new bedroom. Let's go down to the furniture store. They have a wonderful selection of chairs and tables. Perhaps something will catch my eye, said Brandy. And Brandy, I'm excited to see what you have in mind for your new bedroom. Are you looking to add or replace some furniture? Esther looked at her aunt, waiting for an answer. Well, truthfully, Esther, my bed is very old, and the mattress is the same age. Now that I can afford to replace them, I guess the answer is yes to both questions. My room is much larger than what I had before, and I've always wanted a lounge chair with a table in my bedroom to read by. Esther, I think I'm getting goosebumps at the possibilities. Brandy rubbed her arms up and down, warming the skin that had just suddenly chilled from the excitement. Here we are, said Brandy. The girls had walked close to 60 yards, were now at the front of Amy Lynn's Furniture. This happens to be the largest store in the mall, and possibly the most successful. Amy Lynn trucks are seen throughout the city delivering furniture, selling quality furniture at low prices. Amy Lynn has earned a large following of loyal customers. She also gives an unlimited guarantee on everything she sells and attempts to keep every customer satisfied with their purchase, offering a 6-year unconditional warranty. The customer must be satisfied was Amy Lynn's commercial slogan. Entering the store, Esther was in awe of the size. The store actually offered rides on battery-powered carts. The carts could hold a dozen people and take them to the far parts of the store, traveling a circular path in the store, keeping close to the perimeter of the building. Every 30 minutes a cart would make a complete circle, having stopped a half-dozen times to let off and pick up customers. Where should we go first, Aunt Brandy? Esther, I've wondered about this store a few times. I think we should go that way, towards the center of the store. Brandy was walking when a man came up and said her name. Brandy, how wonderful to bump into you. I've been trying to reach you, but my calls keep going to your voicemail. Brandy seemed startled at first and was awkward about how to introduce Esther and perhaps about explaining the unanswered calls. Esther had never witnessed her aunt this flustered, nor had she seen such awkward behavior from her aunt. While Brandy was searching for some words to speak, Esther stepped up and said, Hi, I'm Esther Saint, Brandy's niece. Extending her hand to the man, Esther offered one of her wonderful smiles that seemed to suggest lifelong friendship. The man looked at Esther, taking her hand and smiling back at Esther. Esther Saint, I've heard so much about you. It's wonderful to meet you. Your aunt loves talking about her brother and his daughter. Esther didn't let the mention of her father lower her spirits. She was excited to meet someone that her Aunt Brandy knew. "My father is no longer with us," said Esther. "Aunt Brandy and I have started a new life together. I've only been back a few days." Still holding Esther's hand, the man was genuinely shaken and moving towards Esther. He hugged her while saying, "I am so sorry to hear this, Esther. Please accept my apologies for being so brash today. I have missed your aunt, and I had no idea that she was suffering this loss, or that she had so many changes going on in her life. I know that you too must be hurting. Perhaps I should leave you two into your private grieving and call Brandy in a few days." The man seemed visibly shaken. Brandy continued to stand with her mouth partly open and unable to speak. She had totally forgotten about this person since Esther had arrived on Friday. Realizing he had not introduced himself, he spoke to Esther. "Esther, my name is Jacob Song. Your aunt and I have been dating several years. I was beginning to worry about her. I went to her apartment this morning, and when I saw she had moved, it nearly devastated me. I am so relieved to see that she is fine." "Thank you for your condolences. And Brandy did mention you. However, I have only been in the States since Friday, and we haven't spoken a lot about certain personal things. You know, I'm afraid that jet lag really put me down for 2 days. I've never in my life been so tired, but I really think that I'm back to full stamina now." Esther was smiling at Jacob. Jacob and Esther both turned to Brandy, expecting her to come out of her coma, and she finally did. Suddenly, startled into saying something, Brandy spoke. "Oh, I'm so sorry. My mind was focused in one direction, and hearing your voice and seeing you, well, I couldn't change my train of thought fast enough. I can't explain it any better than that. Esther, this is Dr. Jacob Song. I mentioned him to you. We've been dating for several years. I guess you know that, but the fact is Jacob hasn't committed to a real relationship. He calls me when he's free, and we have an evening together. I never know when I'll see him or if I'll see him again. Perhaps that is why I haven't thought about him since you have been back home." Brandy was being blunt and to the point, which was not her usual demeanor, nor did it seem to fit her past personality, but she was handling it very well now. Jacob looked at Brandy and was somewhat stunned. He didn't say anything for a few moments. It was obvious he was gathering his thoughts. We're going to call that a wrap, to be continued in reading 25. Hope you enjoyed it.